What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Etech Spikers as a part of my Does It Suck series. This is a weapon type that I actually did not review without the community patch, I believe, but one that did get a significant buff as a part of the community patch, which is why we're going to be taking a look at it today. We're going to start by looking at the unpatched version of the weapon, and then move on to applying the community patch to see how the weapon has improved. This particular spiker is from Hyperion, but there are 6 different manufacturers, basically all but Jacobs and Torg, that do manufacture Etech pistols, both in the spiker and the dart variety. The spiker is what we're going to be looking at today, and we're going to be looking at it with a Hyperion branded spiker. We're going to use a Hyperion grip with the base damage accessory. I'm going to be testing this weapon on Axton today because I believe after the community patch that Axton will be the most proficient with Etech pistols. This is the skill build that I'll be using today. It's kind of a general purpose Axton skill build that does get a lot of grenade damage boost. So we have badass rank off if we compare the Etech Spiker to a normal Hyperion pistol with a Hyperion barrel. And so that's kind of the difference here. This has what's referred to as an alien barrel, and this has what's referred to as a Hyperion barrel. Other than that, the weapons are the same. They have the same grip and they have the same accessory. We can see that the vision has a lower damage but a higher fire rate. Additionally, the magazine sizes are approximately the same at 24 and 26, but the effective magazine size of the vision is much deeper because the spiker does consume 2 ammo per shot. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the spiker is going to perform here in the Washburn refinery, and then we'll also have on a corrosive Bone of the Ancients to help it out a little bit more. So let's take a look at this. Now, spikers are not a very well loved type of pistol without the community patch. You can see that they take a moment to explode there, which is really weird. It's a very strange thing, and it's one of the things that I think contributes to this weapon almost never getting used, right? Etech pistols are a weapon type, I'm going to slag this guy to see if we can get a second wind, are a weapon type that gets almost no love, and kind of for good reason, right? Why would you want there to be a delay before your weapon actually does damage? It's not the same as if you were actually using a real pistol like this one. I feel like that would give you much more damage, but let's go ahead and try it again here with Battlefront bonus and see if it's any different for us. So this should slag some enemies for us. And then additionally, we can shoot them as well. Being that this weapon takes a moment to explode, I do not believe it can get criticals. We will head to the Sanctuary testing dummy just to confirm that. The criticals that you're seeing right now are likely coming from the turret, Axton's action skill. You can see that once Metal Storm gets activated, it does shoot pretty quick. Metal Storm pairs nicely with Hyperion's reverse recoil gimmick because then you're shooting really fast and all your shots are laser accurate. Now, with this guy having a shield, this weapon's going to perform especially poorly. It's just not any good. We'll go ahead and whittle him down with corrosive. We could have brought in a shock dart, but luckily there aren't that many enemies with a... I was hoping that the turret would stay on this side of the chain link fence instead of popping through. No big deal. We'll see if we can get another second wind. I do think this is illustrative of the fact that, without the community patch, Etech Spikers are just relatively weak. Now, it's possible that a pistol that actually did damage on impact would have got me a second win there. I think that some of my magazine was still waiting to explode when I actually bled out there. So, with that in mind, Etech Spikers are just not that fun to use. I'll give it one more shot here, but I do think it shows that, this is a pretty poor weapon here. Let's go ahead and slag this dude, put our turret here so that we have our shield bubble for just a moment. Enough to get a few rounds into that guy. You can see here, though, that it does take multiple magazines plus the turret's assistance here in order to actually secure a kill on that guy. And that is just not very good. Keep in mind that's corrosive on armored targets. We're wearing a corrosive Bone of the Ancients. The legendary Soldier Comm is providing a substantial boost to gun damage and fire rate, and it's still just not enough to make this weapon viable, basically. And throw the turret out here again, and we'll see if we can do any more damage to these guys. So I would say the fact that they can't get critical hits, the fact that they do not get grenade damage buffs, and still cannot get critical hits. That is very, very poor for the weapon. And then additionally, I think that the weapon's delay before damage is not only dumb, but something that is very, very unfun, I guess, for the player. Like, it made me never want to use this weapon, really. Even though this weapon has existed since Borderlands 2 came out, for me it was never something that I was interested in, just because I never saw a reason to have a delay before my damage. That time it did get me a second win, but that guy was already slagged. I think he had a little bit of damage on him before we actually fell into fight for our lives there. So we'll try to get this guy slagged. Finish him off like so. Now, one thing I will say is that the skills that, are kill skills and only activate after kills are really kind of wasted on a, pistol that doesn't explode for a couple moments, because some of those rounds that you shot off while you probably still had kill skill bonuses, like Onslaught and Metal Storm, probably go away by the time that those rounds actually explode in some cases, which is just not very good. I guess I will go ahead and see what it can do against a badass, just because I'm morbidly curious. Here is something that it will be very, very poor at in comparison to other weapons, which is blowing up exploders. It took an entire mag to blow that guy up. Luckily, we found him in kind of an optimal situation where he had not yet begun charging us. If he was truly charging us, I would say that this weapon would be among the worst at the moment to actually try to stop him with, because it takes a moment to happen, which is not what you want. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and try to put as many mags into this guy as we can before he destroys our turret. I do believe he would eventually destroy our turret, but it has full health there. Maybe he's just gotten rid of the shield. And still got almost full health. So, yeah, if the super badass doesn't engage us at all, we're actually able to eventually get a kill with this weapon, but you can see that there should be much better options for him to kill a super badass with than this. So the community patch is going to majorly buff Etech pistols, because it's going to allow them to have a higher fire rate, an increased splash radius. They're going to explode on contact, but I think perhaps the most important for Axton is that they're going to get grenade damage buffs now. So let's go to Sanctuary and test it against the testing dummy real quick. We are going to be using corrosive against flesh, which the testing dummy will resist, but it's not really about the total damage that we're getting against the testing dummy right now. We're trying to see the relative damage before and after the community patch. So first we're going to go down here and confirm that it cannot get critical hits, and I'm pretty sure about this. I just want to make sure. So one of those was actually in his mouth, and none of them critical hit. That one's in his dome. No critical hit. So 332k is what we're seeing there on all of our shots. So 332k, it's not that high. Let's go ahead and apply the community patch to see how the weapon has changed. Now this, I think, is going to be an awesome buff, because it takes a weapon type just that was completely irritating, right? You would see the cool purple, like it's a different kind of purple too. Like if we drop this, and hopefully I have a purple weapon, we should be able to see that they have like a really cool purple color to them. The Etech color is a separate kind of purple, and so when you're first playing Borderlands 2 and you see this special kind of purple, you might be thinking, man, that's going to be really, really awesome. Well, maybe not, because the stupid Dr. Zed quest that introduces you to Etech weapons gives you a really poor Etech weapon. But what I'm saying is, it's a special kind of purple there, basically. And that is going to actually make it, a cooler rarity and something that you find and you're really excited about, and then all of a sudden you actually use the weapon and it's pitiful. Let's see if that's the case now, though. So 332 beforehand. Oh, now it explodes on contact and it does 551. So that is a significant difference there. Yeah, I do like the Hyperion gimmick there. So it's still consuming 2 ammo per shot, but the fact that it blows up on contact now is pretty nice. Because we cannot get critical hits with this weapon, which is the main reason I prefer the base damage prefix over the double accessory, we might have to take a look at how the double accessory performs with Hyperion. Yeah, we might have to do that. That's going to make us consume ammo a lot quicker, We get a little bit less damage per shot there at 492, but I think it's going to work out better for us. So let's go ahead and stock up on ammo. And then I'll make sure that I have the redundant up top. Oh, we should also test how it compares with a legendary grenadier too, because the legendary grenadier is going to provide extra grenade damage boost. So yeah, that's how I'm going to use it there, because that gives me 628k per shot, and we're getting 2 shots at a time. Strangely, the second shot that's showing up seems to be doubled already. I don't know what that's about, but if that's true, then we're basically getting 3 shots per 2 shots. It's pretty good. I'll take it. We'll have plenty of grenades there. I guess theoretically, if we need to slag something, we could use our slag pimp, or additionally, instead of a slag transfusion, we could use a Quasar in order to group some enemies up, and that might be a good thing because it also does shock damage for us. So we'll see if we need that. I don't know. The turret should do most of our slagging anyway, so we are going to use the Quasar. The Quasar will help us deal with the R-loaders who have shields, but also Hurley, who does have a shield. It should also help us group enemies up for the Etech pistol to deal splash damage. In addition to the fire rate being increased to 3.6, you can see that it's much more comparable now as far as the fire rate with the Diamond Vision, even though the Diamond Vision got a slight fire rate increase because gemstones were considered a new rarity with the community patch. So that's pretty cool there. But you can see that the fire rate is higher now. It's even higher on the Win-Win Spiker than it is on the Redundant. So you can see that the Win-Win Spiker, which has the same accessory here as the Diamond Vision, has almost the exact same fire rate, 4.5 to 5.0. It's not almost exactly the same, but much closer than it was beforehand, I guess. Let's go to the Washburn Refinery now and see how the weapon is going to perform. Now, I'm pretty excited about them actually getting grenade damage boost, but I'm very excited about it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Doing damage right away. That's the biggest buff to me. Well, I don't know. The combination of it all is a huge buff that I'm excited about. I wouldn't say that one specific part of it is the biggest, but with Axton, the grenade damage buff is something that is very, very welcome, because these weapons never really had a place beforehand. Now this weapon wrecks. So this weapon went from like something that made me mad just to record the first part of this video with, to something that I like quite a bit. Bull loaders are no challenge for this, because this is just strictly doing splash damage to start with anyway. So what that means is that basically they can't block it. I would imagine that power loaders also have a hard time with this weapon. So this guy, still not going to be the best for taking out exploders in my opinion, because you can't get critical hits, but it's a much better weapon for taking out bull loaders. So that's kind of a trade-off that you have, and now it's actually powerful enough that it can easily take out exploders even without critical hits. So that's pretty crazy there. I do like the Hyperion gimmick on this weapon. I think that the Hyperion gimmick kind of pairs well with the double prefix on pistols, because your second shot usually isn't wasted using a Hyperion pistol like it is with a lot of other pistols. Now that's not the case with all pistols, but some single shot pistols, the second shot from the double prefix is just so ridiculously off target all the time that I find it always better to, or not always better, but usually better to use the base damage accessory. This is one of those situations where I'm definitely going to recommend the redundant or double accessory instead, because with this weapon you can't get critical hits, so accuracy is not as important. And then with the Hyperion gimmick, the double prefix is not going to be off target very often. So that's awesome. Maybe if it's your first or second shot from the mag, but after that, it's going to be pretty laser accurate. And you can see here that because it's strictly a splash damage weapon, these power loaders are defenseless against it. And so that's kind of cool there. Go ahead and take out that exploder. This one we have Metal Storm for, but no slag. We weren't able to quite back away from that, perhaps if I had reloaded before engaging him. Onslaught kept me away from him there. I guess, you know, if you have a kill skill active, Axton is pretty speedy, so he should be able to get away all right. Go ahead and slag up this exploder here. Our slag weapon. I guess that's a way you can work around this weapon not doing great at disabling exploders, is you can just carry a slag pimpernel. It's simply the best slagging weapon in the game, and even as Axton, it can easily disable exploders in a single shot. So that is pretty cool. 2 shots. Alright, so a few more enemies to take out in here, or just one more and then the badass. Now we still have Battlefront up, so I'm going to just try to take out the badass as quick as I can, while still having Battlefront up. So I guess another indirect buff to this weapon would have been the buff to damage over time, because that's something that, you know, Etech pistols are always supposed to have at least, so it helps the weapon out a little bit. You can see that the damage over time is at least competitive with his health regeneration now. Anywho, we'll go ahead and move forward here and see what else we can do in the Washburn Refinery using the Etech Spiker. Now, our Spiker is going to be good in other elements, not other elements, excuse me, but other manufacturers other than Hyperion. Likely. There's going to be benefits to using the Dahl. I would say the Vladof is going to have a huge fire rate as well, so that might be kind of cool. We're also going to have to take a look at Etech darts. I'm kind of excited about the Spiker because I like the way the weapon travels. I like what it does so far, but maybe darts are cool too. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that. What I can tell you now is that having a pistol that gets grenade damage buffs is really cool. That's why a lot of Axton players liked the Hornet beforehand. So now there are other pistols that can get grenade damage boost. And I do think that if a weapon can't get critical hits, it likely should be able to get grenade damage boost, right? Because if it can't get critical hits, it's primarily a splash type weapon. And with that in mind, these Etech pistols actually were dealing what was considered rocket damage beforehand. So if you had a class mod or relic or something that was boosting rocket launcher damage, it would actually help out the Etech pistols a little bit. But rocket damage boost are so much less common than grenade damage boost, because there's actually a character who has grenade damage boost in his skill tree and stuff. I think multiple. I think Creed can as well. Either way, it's a much bigger deal to have grenade damage than rocket damage. Alright, so you can see here that it's actually doing quite a bit of work. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is a very powerful weapon. How does it compare to some of Axton's best options? I'm not so sure, but I can't imagine that it compares unfavorably to almost anything at the moment. This thing is badass. I would imagine that other companies have good ones as well, but I really do like Hyperion's combination of fire rate and accuracy. It is something that is very, very nice. Now, I guess a contemporary Hyperion pistol for this would be the Lady Fist, because the Lady Fist is another very, very powerful Hyperion pistol, but it operates on a completely different set of rules. You know, it does not get grenade damage boost, but it does get a wild critical hit damage boost. And so, you know, against some enemies like power loaders and bull loaders, this will be better. Against some enemies like exploders or, you know, certain other enemies, the Lady Fist is going to be better. Now, if you're killing a raid boss, I would say that the Lady Fist is definitely going to be a much better option, because you can use it with the B shield and then get that crazy critical hit modifier on the B shield. And so that would work out really, really well. But, you know, for mobbing, the Lady Fist is good even without the B. So how does this compare to the Lady Fist? I mean, they're both pretty good, but they have their strengths and weaknesses. One thing you will notice about this weapon is it's perhaps not the best barrel destroyer because of the initial Hyperion sway. But I guess you could fire a few rounds and then you've got, you know, a much more accurate spread and you're going to be okay. So, I don't know. Not a super great barrel destroyer. The Pimpernel is probably the best barrel destroyer in the game, much like it's the best slagging weapon in the game. And also just kind of tied for the best sniper. It's really good. Alright, so we're in a bad way right now because that guy is shooting us through a chain link fence. Let's see if we're able to get a second wind off of him. Oops, switched to the wrong weapon there. Didn't mean to. It was the same weapon, just in a different prefix. I could have kept using it. Whatever. So this cutscene should provide just a little bit of time for my shield to get to maximum. And then once my shield is at maximum, I should recover health via a skill called, I think it's Able. It might be Preparation. I'm not entirely certain. Let's check real quick. My turret's over here, which is not good for fighting Hurley. So yes, it is preparation that increases your health when your shield is full. So we'll get rid of his shielding real quick using the Quasar, and then we'll cut into him here using the Etech Sniper, or not Etech Sniper, Etech Spiker. So I did eventually run out of ammo. Pistols have a fairly deep ammo capacity, but we did eventually exhaust it. I was not picking up ammo from ammo chest, at least deliberately, anytime during this run, but I did walk over some enemies and stuff. So this weapon does still consume ammo relatively quickly. Perhaps if we were using the base damage version instead of the redundant version, we would be a little bit more ammo efficient, but we'd also, at that point in time, be killing enemies a little bit slower, I think. Now, that's a bad way to kill Hurley there, where he kills you at the exact same time. That was a very, very poorly executed Hurley run there. But, you know, oops, I didn't plan to run out of ammo or go down to the super badass loader, so it all threw me off, and then got a little bit greedy trying to finish him too quickly and ended up dying to Hurley, which sucks, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a very, very powerful pistol. If we would have played it a little bit safer against Hurley, would have waited for our turret to be there from the start, we definitely could have killed him in one turret duration, but got too greedy with it. Alright, we'll throw this up here. Hopefully it slags this guy, and then he'll die. Hopefully it can also slag this guy up here for us, but if it can't, we'll use this. Perfect. When you have Metal Storm active, this thing is an absolute monster. Metal Storm plus Etech Spiker is a good time. And then also you're getting Onslaught at the same time as you're getting Metal Storm, so you really feel that high fire rate because you can see the damage or the rounds going out of your magazine really, really quickly. Like, your magazine depletes much quicker when you have Metal Storm than when you do not. But also, when you have Metal Storm and you're getting that plus 60% fire rate, you're also having Onslaught, so you're getting that extra 30% gun damage. And so when you have a kill with Axton, you are going to have a lot more potential with pretty much every weapon, but especially the Etech Spiker here. It does a lot of work when you actually have that kill skill bonus going on. So, does it suck regarding the Etech Spiker? Well, at least it doesn't regarding the Hyperion. I can't really make a blanket statement here without the other 5 manufacturers of the Etech Spiker here, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I basically think any Etech Spiker with Axton and grenade damage buffs is going to be a very, very powerful weapon at this point. They made so many changes to this weapon with the community patch that the weapon went from basically shit tier to really, really good. And I don't think it was overbuffed necessarily, because the weapon beforehand was a joke. It was a weapon that was basically a wasted space. You can only have so many different types of weapons, even though Borderlands 2 has a variety of different types of weapons. The Etech pistols were one variety of weapon that was just shitty, and no one really used them for any reason at all other than potentially the Wanderlust on Gauge, but that was the only one that I really saw ever really getting any use. The Dominator, I think some people use because it comes at a rather helpful time in the story quest, and so we'll have to take a look at darts as well. But spikers, I never really saw a spiker get used. I would see the, unique darts occasionally get used, but never the spiker. And so I think it's really cool that they turned a weapon that was completely unviable or not viable into something that's actually a pretty great weapon on Axton. Now, like I said, we've only taken a look at the Hyperion version here. I would expect the Hyperion version to be the best if there's another better version. I don't know about it because I haven't spent enough time with them yet. I just assumed that the Hyperion one would be the best, and the Hyperion one performed really, really well. So I'm not going to really challenge that hypothesis. If there's a better one out there, that's a good thing too. Maybe the Vladof wins out with its high fire rate. I'm not totally sure. Either way, though, the Etech Sniper definitely does not suck with the community patch. It is quite powerful and very fun to use. As always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. I'd appreciate that as well. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. I do think it's worth noting that this weapon probably still sucks on 0 because it can't get critical hits, But obviously, since it can get grenade damage, it's going to be really good on Axton, and it's probably at least viable on others. So one more time, guys, thanks for watching, and I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.